Hello and welcome to your favorite rugby social media show, none other than In Touch, right here on your World of Champions. And today we'll be hanging out with one of our very own rugby commentator, Anton Taylor. We'll be looking a little bit at his life, what keeps him churning, and of course, his journey as well. But remember, if you can't be with us live, you can also watch on SuperSport 1 at 7:30, and then we will be on catch up so that you can watch all that In Touch has in store for you. Well, let's find out a little bit more about the man from his friend Glen Pan.
He was at SuperSport, but he is coming up in the ranks. He's doing good. He's doing good work. I think I enjoy listening to him as a fan of rugby. He's doing Varsity Cup at the moment, and I think he's done a few Curry Cup games.
Have you got some tips for him?
Yeah, I think he needs to just work on his range. In acting we talk about light and shade. You would know. You've done radio. You can't get so excited for something. Someone makes the guys, they change a jersey and he's changing a jersey. Unbelievable. He's going into Hugh Bladen now. I don't know where he starts. Unbelievable. Ndungani. Ndungani's not even playing, but he's going Ndungani.
Oh, what an introduction then from Glen, your friend. Turning into a Hugh Bladen, he says?
Well, firstly, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be joining you. So thank you for having me. What hurt about what Glen said was that it is quite true. I sometimes do have a bit of trouble holding back the excitement. Yeah. How I'm feeling right now as well. And I mean, the next Hugh Bladen, that's not too much of an insult though. I mean, Hugh is the OG, so I'll take it.
He certainly is the king, yeah. It's not a bad thing to be likened to the likes of Hugh Bladen. And if you want to watch the rest of that episode, you can find it on our YouTube page. But let's chat a bit about you, Anton, and your friendship with Glen. When did you guys meet, and how have you guys been working together?
So I first met Glen at school. He was 2 years younger than me, and we were both in drama. So I was a matric. I was head of drama. It sounds a lot more cool than it is. But Glen was obviously had theatrical aspirations, and he was this grade 10, and he started spreading this rumor that he was head of, he owned the theater, which obviously, wasn't going to go down. So I called him into my office and sort of admonished, slash threatened him. But there, I think our friendship developed, and then we often after school used to work together. I once tried my hand at stand-up comedy, did a gig with him. Terrible, like bombed, the worst thing ever. But he was there for it, and over the years we started working, and then we were in this beautiful show, Tali's Wedding Diary. Yeah. And he is by far, Tali and him are the favorite characters in the show. I'm about like the 5th favorite. But I got to work with him, and for just a month, I got to just annoy him, bother him with would you rather questions. And I think that's when I like to believe we cemented our best friendship.
Well, the show did very, very well as well, winning 5 SAFTAs. Tell us about that. Those horns are so precious when it comes to film and television.
Yeah, so well deserved. Julia and Ari, the husband and wife, director, lead actress, producer, amazing magic combo. They had the idea. We filmed the short pilot, like an 8-minute pilot. And I'd always thought, I'd hacked over the years. I'd done YouTube stuff, which some of the guys might have seen
from back in the day.
I apologize if you had to see some of it. It was hit and miss, and I was in adverts, and it was always to be an actor was kind of the impossible dream. And then, one day this opportunity came through, and I just remember when we were on set, and I was like, okay, we actually we're filming it, and irrespective of what happens, we did it. And then for it to get all the awards, so well deserved. And I'm really hoping that it might motivate the powers that be to bring out season 2.
Yeah. You were one of the pioneers of online content, creating content for the likes of YouTube and just the online market. What do you think is the number one thing that you need to have great content online?
I think you just got to back yourself and be creative. I think we're in such a lucky era because 20 years ago, I would have had to, if I wanted to put content out, I would have had to have gone to a TV station and pitched them an idea and got approval. Whereas now you can have almost just a cell phone and you can put content out. And if it's creative and good enough, it'll get the views. But I'd say the hard thing is backing yourself, because it's very vulnerable putting a skit out online. And there's been many a morning where I'm like, oh my word, am I going to do this? And obviously there's always trolls that like, you know, so you got to have a bit of a hard skin. But I think you just have to really be willing to put yourself out there. Yeah.
Well, you certainly did put yourself out there, and we have this beautiful piece as well here on your World of Champions. A look into Anton's life on World of Us.
It was cool in my first few years being called the Van Wilder, but then it sort of, as I got older, I started to think more about it. But I think it was because I was here for a while, but I didn't fail subjects. I just took a lot of subjects. When I graduated with my master's, the security guards said, "Hey, Anton."
So everybody on the UCT campus knew exactly who Anton was.
Oh, look, I don't want to like rate myself, but you know, there was a mixed sort of, some people knew of me, but not all were fans. You know, and I ran for the student government, and I got on, and I remember I ran independently with just a sort of photo of myself in a vest. That was my, you know, against the other political parties. So, oh, there we are. The image of that was finally the end of the road when I graduated.
With your master's.
With a master's.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Doctor.
it was hard earned, but I think the time has come for me to relinquish my spot at on the campus. I'd been studying for a long time, but had a great time, and I think I left no stone unturned in what I did, from socializing to studies to extramural.
Lots of socializing. Van Wilder, they say.
Yes, well, there was that reputation. I came in quite hot, and you know, the great thing was I was in Res, Leo Market Res, which was a really important time for me. I made a lot of lifelong friends.
Yeah.
And you know, I had a draw, so I was like, well, yeah, maybe I'll study another year. I got a sort of a bit of a scholarship for my master's. So I was like, okay, I can sort of take my time. But eventually the time came to become like an adult and step out. Yeah.
A real grown-up, real
Yeah.
grown-up. Well, it took quite, you know, you spent a lot of time at UCT. When did that turning point come from? All-out party boy to, you know, let's get serious, let's get the real things done as well.
You know, I think it came when I was doing my master's, and I had to write my thesis, and it was a master's in creative writing, so you have to write a novel, like a book. Ooh. And that's not something you can do on a Sunday night before the test, or you can't. And I was like, dude, you know, you can't be lying in bed hungover on a Sunday or Monday when you've got a degree and to do, whereas your friends are like architects and doctors and like building and changing the world. So I remember then having a very distinctive like moment where I thought, okay, now it's time to be an adult. And also when I started to not have many friends at campus because I was too old. Like, it's just like
you were the only
old
grown
guy
up
in the corner, you know, eating by myself. I was like, okay, let's expedite the process.
It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Well, you say your thesis was in essence a novel.
Yes.
Are you going to put it out?
That is talking about being scared.
Come on, Anton.
Like, is the world ready? Yeah, like, the problem is I always struggle with the word limit. So like even my Instagram status is like,
yes.
you know, I'm like cutting down the commas and stuff. So the book was a bit long. So maybe if I can narrow it down and redo it, I think, yeah, maybe it could be, it is sitting there. So it's sort of
Do you have
waiting.
a title?
Yes, called Ashwalkers.
Ashwalkers. Ooh.
It's like, you know, very provocative.
Very, I can hear.
No
I
one
can
knows
hear.
what it means, yeah.
Gets the people going, the director says. Oh, let's talk about boxing. You know, you got to keep fit when you're on campus. What has boxing taught you? Life lesson.
So I used to play rugby. I was, let's just, I must say, I was an average to maybe averagely good rugby player. It's not like my injuries stopped me playing for the Springboks or anything, but I did my ACL, had 3 ACL revisions. So I then worked out the only sport that I could start that was safe enough on my knees was boxing.
Wow.
And you can also play it a bit older. Like if you are 31 playing rugby, you know, you're getting towards the end of your career. So, you know, people think boxing is a violent sport, but it really teaches you, like what it's taught me is I'm a lot calmer. And you learn, because when you're boxing or sparring, if you lose your temper, you lose almost. Like, that's just the general rule, as rule of thumb. If you get angry, you lose your cool, you open up. So it teaches you in very tense environments to always just keep yourself measured. So I like to believe if I can stay calm when a guy's hitting me in the face, then, you know, I can stay calm in most other situations, and it's been one of the great joys of my life. Yeah.
But have you taken that lesson out of the ring and put it into real life?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, you know, I had a fight recently about a month ago, and the moment when you're up on the ring, and I must stress it's proper amateur fighting. It's not like big head guards and puffy gloves and your arms both get red. No insult to the people that do that, but like it's quite proper, and there are a lot of knockouts. And that moment when the bell rings to start the fight is like the most unimaginable anxiety, and you just ride it out for about 15 seconds, and then everything sort of eases. So from that, I've really taken, you know, even now when the show started, it's going to be chilled, and it's taught me that like life's going to be all right, and just stay calm and breathe through it.
And be in the rhythm, be in the rhythm. And he certainly found his rhythm as a SuperSport commentator on the likes of the Pro 14 and the Varsity Cup. But we want to hear from the man. We want to hear from the people he works with. Just how good a guy is Anton?
Yeah, what do I say? Anton Taylor. I met him last year when I started working for SuperSports in Craven Week. My first gig was with him, and we hit it off from the get-go. I was a bit nervous, and he helped me get through the nerves. He helped me build up my momentum and stick with it. He helped me actually find my sort of brand that I'm trying to build within SuperSports. He's a very great chap, very funny, very witty, and the great thing is it's not forced. It is who he is. I must say, Anton Taylor, you're a lacquer oak, and I hope that you don't change for nobody. Keep on going, keep it flowing like the water.
It's been an absolute joy up till now commentating with him. We have a couple of mutual friends at UCT back in the varsity days, and I got to hear some of the crazy stories about the legend of Anton Taylor at UCT. But what a pleasure to work with such a gregarious character. It's so easy for him to connect with other people. And he's so innovative in the workspace as well. We've just started now recently telling each other something embarrassing about one another that we find embarrassing and we're shy about, just to open up the platform, sort of build a space of trust between us. So just awesome working with a people's person.
In all our traveling together, we've experienced some weird and wonderful places and also some weird and wonderful people. And when we want to retell the story, or when Anton wants to retell the story, he always uses the same voice. Here it is. Okay, so let's say it's an air hostess not able to give him his croissant now. He'd be like, yeah, Couture, she was like, sorry, we don't give the same service to like the lower class than the upper class. And yes, are you Darren from Tali's Wedding Diaries? And then he'd be like, oh yeah, give me my coffee. Always the same voice, and every time I laugh. Sorry. Some colourful stories, and I'm looking forward to see which ones he's coming up with next. Or which tales he'll retell. Okay, Mr. Taylor, I'll see you later.
What's with the voice?
Oh man, that is just the best thing ever. I feel like it's my birthday. So thank you to those guys for the love. I didn't even realize, but I do have one voice of like when I talk about someone talking, they always just use the same voice. I guess I now need to differentiate.
The same high-pitched voice.
It's more like a kind of rough, kind of South African, like, hey, you Anton? I saw you in that show, man. No, let me have a selfie there. Which I'm sure that everyone speaks like that, but I mean, obviously, like Couture's saying I need to have a pitch. There's some different accents. I can slip into that very easy. Conduct the interview.
You're actually famous then, hey? Getting spotted on planes and whatnot.
Oh, like Zedler. Like, there's A grade, and then, I mean, there's like me with like, we haven't even hit 10K followers on Insta, so I'm still, but every now and then someone might recognize me. So it's like, sometimes an old lady who's watched Tali's Wedding Diary, and then she'll just be like, I love Rail so much. I love Tali. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great.
What about me?
And they're like, and the guy who was the wedding planner was hilarious. I'm like, okay. And they're like, will there be a season 2? And then sometimes they'll just be dudes. Be like, yo, bro, saw you on Josie Shaw. And they in Josie Shaw, I played this really like macho man. And I think they expect me to be them. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm going to be like, let's go push some weights. And I just see the disappointment in their eyes when they just see I'm like a normal dude.
Just a guy.
Like, are we going to go hit some Jaegers? And I'm like, oh, I'm just going to, no, thanks, bro. So
I'm good.
Not many girl attention. Like 9 out of 10 people are the dudes who I still appreciate them. But yeah, so I'd say like proudly Z-list, yeah.
Proudly Z-list. Ugh, don't take him seriously. He's not proudly Z-list. How's your SuperSport journey been?
It has been one of, if not the best thing that's ever happened to me. The last time I was in the studio, I was auditioning.
Wow.
So I always wanted to be a rugby commentator, but as we went over, I wasn't a Springbok, so I was like, how do I enter in? I was in the bush, and I don't go on Twitter that often, and I saw someone had tweeted me, a friend of mine, Dan Galley, had tweeted me, he said, there's a commentators competition, and I'd missed the Cape Town one. I was like, okay, I got to do this. Flew in from Joburg, last entrant in the whole competition. Walked into the studio, scraped through, was the last guy they chose in every round. Owen and Kamani gave me a chance. I was terrible, and he said, listen, I think you can do better. I did it again.
Wow.
Got through, then we went to the next day we were in Santon, and it then got in, and as you see with these mates of mine, not only do I love talking about rugby, but I just love the people here, and I have such good friends, and it's such a magical place to live. It's been the best thing ever. Yeah.
World of Champions.
Yeah.
We don't call it that for nothing, and that's exactly what he's turning into, even in his commentary, which he spices up quite a bit. Listen to this.
New to the field, another Selborne boy. Rips through the hands, Anton Taylor, Mania Hotzenberg puts in the kick, Hansen builds it! Mania Hotzenberg of Halston Craven, face of his name, and the untackled, breaker of defenders and father of tries, seals it perhaps for Marty's.
Hey, you can actually hear that you're a writer.
Oh,
Game of
thank you.
Thrones sprinkled upon it.
You had to, the day that Game of Thrones was launched, and I guess that's our credit to SuperSport for employing a guy who's got a master's in creative writing. It's like, and I'd actually planned to use it as an intro for Couture. Sorry, Couture, and then I thought, no, we actually got to use it for the try. And I think that was in about the 70th minute.
Yeah.
And I was so happy that I got the opportunity to use it. So probably half the joy is I'm actually getting to say it. Yeah, and it
That's
was
brilliant.
yeah.
That's absolutely, absolutely brilliant. What is it? What's the thing you love the most about commentary?
I love words. I love communicating. I love trying to be telling stories. Obviously I love rugby itself, but to use language, and then I do lots deep research on the players. So I can tell you this guy's cousin was dating this, so I love the human piece. But then with that, the thing I really love is the people, because having worked in different environments, I've never met a place where, and I think it's maybe because people at SuperSport have used to being in teams where everyone's just good people. So you arrive on production, everyone's awesome, you eat, you go have a jaw. So it's something there's just a joy from the moment you arrive to the moment you leave, and then even offset afterwards, yeah.
Yeah, certainly is a family, and we'll be letting you in on some of the members of our family on our series World of Us, and one of the guys is none other than Ricky Schroeder.
That's the beauty of the role parents play in their kids' life. They're constant parents. They've always been present in our lives. At no price, no career, no money figure can put on that. The dream was to wear the green and gold. It was always that. I think, yes, at that moment, it was always a childhood dream to wear the blue and white hoops. And I'm playing at school level, that was sort of fulfilled. But then that moment I signed that deal, it was the green and gold. And it's always been, it has always been the carrot in front of me.
Growing in this industry, the TV industry, the broadcasting industry, and just to become better all the time. I've got some amazing people in my corner that's helping me, molding me, shaping me. Don't let your circumstance determine where you're going. That is something, my motivational speaking, the emceeing, is something very dear to my heart.
Ricky, what a great guy. You've worked with him as well, eh?
Yeah, Ricky's a big mate of mine. We knew each other from years back, and since he's come to SuperSport, we've slotted in so nicely. Very jealous because I think his video as World of Us has a few more views than mine. And I think his arms are actually bigger than mine in the
They are.
jump. So, what?
I think they are.
I think it could have been a wider angle, but and I am on a cutting phase, so we're not sure. But yeah, man, what a great. We even like, you know, I WhatsApped him last night, hasn't even listened to it. So Ricky, if you are watching this live, know that I'm really hurt that you didn't reply. He hasn't even opened it. So
Ricky, answer your phone,
yeah,
please.
Ricky, please.
Please, answer his calls. Thank you. All right, well, we're going to put your commentary to the test.
Oh, dear.
I want you to commentate on something very, very, very spectacular. Ladies and gentlemen, Anton Taylor.
All right, well, here we have one of the most exciting, riveting games of sport you will ever see. It is South African bowls. I believe the Australian behind is possibly drunk. We're not sure if they've been using doping, but as you can tell, the gentleman inside, wow, this is unbelievable. He's got up the eyesight. Have you ever seen something like that? Curling in, moving towards that bright yellow world. Oh, my word, a narrow miss. Could that have taken South Africa into the lead? Get out the Xanax. Because I need to calm down, and now the Australians in their distinct bright yellow, I believe they have tampered that ball, as you can see from the way it's moving in. He's got the spotter to look at the work. Warner in the background is giving him, come on, mate, come on, you can get it. Yeah, all right, we've beaten the South Africans. I think that's a sheep there. No, it's the New Zealanders, and still, it is actually South Africa, I think, in the yellow jersey, so I've mixed it up a little bit, but this is as tight as you'll get. Wow, and now, our next competitor stepping in is Mrs. Marjorie Clark from Bryanston. She has been training hard. There were rumors that she's been on banned substances, but you can see from the power in that throw there, that is precise, and all 60 years of her life been put towards it. Still going on. The game can't stop, won't stop, as you see athletes in their prime. Goodness me, I'm almost going to fade from the tension. The spectators are passing out either from nerves or possibly old age, but that very well may have won it. Goodness me. Wow.
Doesn't get better than that, doesn't get better than that. Ladies and gentlemen, Anton Taylor. Have you ever heard a bowls match being so exciting and riveting? Well, something that is riveting, Super Brew.
Yeah, oh, yes. Yeah.
Are you doing well on the Super Brew table?
It has been a terrible 2019. I was hoping you wouldn't mention Super Brew. There's about 4 people in our SuperSport Super Brew group who haven't been making picks. So they're right at the bottom, and then I think I'm about 1 or 2.
No.
I thought I would get it.
Look, it's been madness with the results as well.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
I don't know if I could pay someone to. You are about where?
Yeah,
where you set? Where are you? You're number one.
Top 5. Yeah.
What is okay? Between me and you and a few thousand.
We'll talk about it.
Because I'm dead serious. Just for pride, I'm a rugby commentator now. They must see me coming last. If there were a Varsity Cup or SuperSport Challenge Super Brew, I would be.
You'd be number one.
I'd be number one.
You'd be number one. Yeah, it's been very, very tight. It's been very tight. Okay, let's start with the first game of the weekend: Chiefs versus the Lions.
I still believe in the Lions. You know, the South African sides have been very bipolar this year. Because one match I'm like, okay, the Bulls, this is their year. Then it's like the Sharks. So I'm going to say that the Lions, I'll back them. Yeah.
So you're still going to back the Lions?
Yeah.
Okay. Sunwolves, Hurricanes.
Hurricanes.
Yeah. Sharks, Reds.
Sharks.
Highlanders, Blues.
Highlanders.
Waratahs, Rebels.
Rebels. They've got a South African coach. They're in a good space.
Stormers, Brumbies.
Stormers.
Yeah. Okay. Then this is definitely votes then for the South African teams, and you can enjoy all of that action right here on your World of Champions as well. And we will join you on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, for all of the live coverage. And you at home can play as well. Just log on to superbrew.com, and you can stand a chance of winning a 42 or one of 42 Samsung Galaxy Note 9 smartphones. Okay. I hope you do better this weekend then.
Me too. I really do.
Such a pleasure having you on the show, Anton. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a beautiful experience, and thanks so much for hosting me.
Yeah, Anton Taylor, everybody. You'll be hearing him on all your Pro 14 matches. Varsity Cup done and dusted now, but his voice will still be heard right here on your World of Champions. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. Until next week, ciao, ciao.